Hi guys, my name is Mutumba Amisi. I want to share with you how I went through the assignment and the college-wide capability that I selected is communication. That's what I'm going to look at. And there are three core texts that I selected, plus one which is the alternative. And the first one is functions of verbal communication. The second one being how languages shape the way we think by Teddy Conferences. We have evaluation skills needed in the college by the College Student Journal. Then we have the last one as the 52 Blue. That's the loneliest well in the world. So we're going to look at, I'm just going to analyze the way these writers put across their ideas. And I'm just going to look at these appeals. The use of the ethos, that is, uh, how does the writer gain credibility of the message he's trying to portray? And when I just look at how languages shape the way we think text, uh, the message is conveyed by Teddy during the conference. She uses a well known example of Aboriginal language to gain credibility because everybody is aware of that and its existence. Um, when we come to the evaluation skills needed in the college, the writer here presents a report after a well-researched work from the numerous college students and from employers to gain credibility. And then when we come to slide number 3, uh, we are looking at the functions, how the functions of verbal communication. Uh, and the writer bases his argument on the research from the experts. Like we see, uses the hypothesis, which is developed by Edward Sapir and then Benjamin Lee. Uh, these are different experts in the language, and then bases from there, and then he gets or gains credibility of his article. And then also uses the Scientific American article, which is a credible article after the research, then to gain credibility. Then when it comes to the last text, that's the loneliest whale, here we are seeing that the writer is using experts, the acoustic technicians like George Velma, who worked at the naval air stations to gain credibility because the information which is given by such individuals uh, is credible and is true because it was trying to get information from these experts. Then we're trying to look at the use of pathos. How is or how are these writers trying to appeal to our feelings? And then when we try to examine the first text, how language shape the way we think, the speaker here is appealing to our emotions by citing a primitive kind of tribe is using the Aboriginal language and trying to see how they struggle in communication as they are trying to use directions north, northeast, and so on. And it touches people's hearts. And when we come to functions of verbal communication, how does the writer here appeal to our emotions? We are seeing that here is using a public figure. This is the former president, George Bush. And everybody who tries to read the text is touched because this is a big man and it makes a reader actually have interest in reading the text. Then when we go to evaluation skills, so when we go to evaluation skills, that when we go to evaluation skills needed at the college, here the writer is appealing to our motion by emphasizing the need of these skills. We're studying to get jobs, and if indeed we study and we don't get jobs, it really hurts. Then it's trying to put us in a position such that we can try to think about gaining these skills as a way to outcompete the current job market. And the 52 blue, that's the loneliest whale in the world. Here, the writer is using or has used a number of scenarios to appeal to our emotions. Like, in the first place, this blue whale failed to get a mate. Really, everybody feels a pity. What a pity. And he uses a number of people here, like Watson, who died of cancer, and then that who also suffered, and then underwent some kind of medical surgery and so on, taking a number of months while being hospitalized. Yeah, it really touches people's hearts. Then we come to logos. How do their information flow? Is it logically arranged? So when we look at the first text, the functions of verbal communication, here the writer arranges his ideas in a logical manner. In the first place, he uses a hook statement about the former president. That one just drives people into the interest of reading everything there. And then we come to the evaluation scale. The writer here organizes his ideas starting with the research. He builds from the research background and then concludes with the results from the analysis. So the information is logically arranged. Then when we come to the purpose, now we're coming to the purpose. What is the purpose of writing? Now when we come to the first text, the writer's purpose here, when we look at the functions of verbal communication, the writer's purpose is to educate. And he bases the information on facts. There's no any ambiguity, and it delivers everything, all the message without any bias. Then how languages shape the way we think. Also, the user's intention or the purpose is just to educate the audience about the impacts of the languages on the way we reason. And just citing another example, which is also famous, that is Aboriginal language, to emphasize her point. And then still on the purpose, when we come to the evaluation skills needed at the college, what would be the purpose of the writer? The writer's main purpose here is to inform the audience about the need of the college students to acquire more skills as a way to outcompete in the job market. It's making the whole public and just aware, and then calls on those ones responsible for curriculum development, so on, to make some kind of amendments. Then the 52 blue, what is the aim of, what's the purpose of the writer here? The purpose here is, I see, is to entertain the audience. Uses a lot of slangs and then figurative language and so on, just to entertain and see the real story touches people's hearts. And then when we come to the audience, when you try to examine and analyze these texts and the speeches given, what target audience are they aiming at? Here, when we look at the functions of the verbal communication, the writer's audience is just a group of students from the university that are really studying communication skills, trying to put more knowledge into these learners' heads. And then how languages shape the way we think is also trying to look at students at the colleges and university trying to learn communication skills, trying to learn languages, and so on. The evaluation skills needed at the college. The writer here is targeting those who are developing the curriculum, those ones who are designing the curriculum at the colleges and the university, so that they can make some kind of amendments and try to save the younger generation. Um, the 52 blue, the loneliest, I see the writer here is trying to target a group of people who have got broken hearts, those ones with the relations that are broken up and so on. That's what I'm trying to see here. So when we come to the main ideas, the ideas directly embedded into the text, or they're trying, somehow hidden. When we try to look at the functions of verbal communication as a text, the ideas here are directly stated and really see what someone is trying to talk about. And when we come to how languages shape the way we think, also the main ideas directly uh, uh, spoken. And then evaluation skills still directed. But when we come to the loneliest well, I'm seeing the main idea somewhere, somehow hidden. It's straight to explain a number of words and so on. Then when we come to the language that's being used. With the blue whale, that is the 52 blue, the loneliest whale, it's kind of person or the writer is trying to use some kind of figurative expressions and slangs. And it takes a moment, someone to understand him clearly, and then the kind of language is being used is a little bit technical. Whereas for the rest here, functions of verbal communication, the writers not using any slang, no word repetition, and then how languages shape the way we think. Also, no slangs and no word repetition. Message is just very clear. Thank you.